Welcome to the Dinnernet with Mark and Meg, the only podcast that can be measured in ABV.
We're drunk. Today on the show, our guest is Matt Pachmayr, bar manager at LaCoin and bartender at the Streamline. He also does cocktail pop-ups at Bad Bishop as No Call, No Show with various other characters. Welcome, Matt.
Hello, hello.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's been a good day so far.
You spent your morning prepping?
I did. I was at LaCoin this morning at 8. I was teaching a little baby bartender named Asher.
Cute.
Kind of teaching
Adorable.
him the prep stuff there. Yeah.
Nice.
Some mentorship happening, huh?
Yeah, a little bit.
I've heard that Seattle isn't a city of mentorship for the most part, and I wonder if you agree with that or not.
I would disagree with that as someone who did have a bar mentor.
Yeah.
And I've heard from a lot of people of mentorships happening in this town. Like, I feel like I'm kind of part of the old guard now just because there's a lot of white in my beard.
That's probably why.
Probably why.
Bartender grandpa. Yeah.
Yeah. I myself can think of a few bartenders that seem like great mentors off the top of my head, you know, like Parker Knowles, Tony Lombardi, Keith Wallbauer, you, and probably some others. That was just like knee-jerk reaction.
When you say you have a mentor, are we talking Murray?
Yeah, we're talking Murray.
All right,
yeah,
we'll get into
that's
that
the
later.
one.
Yeah.
Mark, how was your week / end?
My week was good. It was very wine-centric.
Okay, cool.
I went to Lucy's Bottle Shop with you.
Yes,
and
I
Mike
remember
from
that.
Vindictive.
I saw you there.
Yeah,
I remember traveling there with you and then seeing you there.
We'll talk about that more later.
I remember the wine we drank together at the same table.
There was lots of it.
Yeah.
And then the next day, I traveled out to Woodinville to go to the tasting room for Airfield Estates Winery.
Oh, really?
Oh, I don't know it.
I don't know them either.
Yeah, they're a winery in Yakima, and I actually didn't know about them either, except that my friend Dan, who's an old coworker of mine from long ago, we text each other during opening day of baseball season, like every year.
Cute.
I don't see him much, but I texted him this year thinking he was at the game because he always is. And this time he responded, "Oh man, I'm not there. I just closed up at the tasting room." And I was like, "What tasting room? I thought you were an accountant." And and he told me about this place. Yeah, and he said, "Come visit sometime." And I thought, I will come in
Right
a couple
now.
weeks. Yeah.
Right now.
Prepare
I'm
yourself.
on my way, Dan.
Yeah. So I cruise out there, and that winery is great.
Yeah?
They have,
nice.
It's a very, I would say they categorize as a traditionally oriented winery. They're very terroir based. And I had a really fantastic, although I just said traditional, but they had a Sangiovese rosé.
Okay.
Which is pretty unusual in my understanding. And
I've never heard of such a thing.
it was bomb. A bottle of it was $15.
What?
Which
That's great.
like feels like
Like a grocery outlet
Yeah.
winery? Yeah.
yeah. Anyways, that was great. It was fun to catch up with Dan and taste some really fantastic wine at a place I didn't know about previously.
Very good.
Yeah,
We didn't
Meg?
either.
How was your week?
It was good. I hung out with Jackie V. We made the rounds in Linwood looking for food. And I bought a greenhouse off Facebook Marketplace for my backyard.
I saw your post about that.
So there was a very cheap greenhouse. There's a greenhouse that I've actually wanted for a while. But it was like $1,500, and someone was selling it in the boxes for $550. But the ad was in Spanish, and I was like, "Steven, how good's your Spanish?" Steven's from the Bay Area, and he's like, "Not great. It's kind of like a 5-year-old." And I'm like, "I'm just gonna see if I can talk to this guy." And we were able to communicate, and we went and rolled up and then the guys, he's speaking English, but he said something in Spanish, and Steven was like, "Oh yeah, absolutely." And he told him to pull the truck around in some space. I'm like, "What happened? Where did?" He's like, "No, I got it." They were actually able to communicate, and I was like, "Right, Steven fucking speaks Spanish." He doesn't. I was impressed that
Steven fucking
Steven
killing
can
it.
do anything. Yeah.
Renaissance.
And so we got a greenhouse. I'm gonna grow dwarf Cavendish banana trees, and I have a vanilla orchid that's not very happy in my dining room, so I'm gonna stick it in there.
That kicks ass.
Yeah.
I remember
great.
you considering that for quite some time.
Yeah, I just didn't want to spend $1,500, but I'd never bought anything on Facebook Marketplace before, so I'm glad it worked out.
Great first purchase.
Once I tried to buy a Metro bus shelter on Facebook Marketplace, and the guy just kind of sold it to somebody else and said he'd get back to me, so I kind of didn't believe in the process, but this time it worked. Thanks, Steven. So, Matt, you're at LaCoin.
Yes.
And you're the bar manager.
Yes.
And you've been there for quite a while, yeah?
Yeah, I've been there for almost 5 years now.
Okay, and how long have they been open?
They have been open since 2018,
Okay.
July.
Okay, so
So
you
you-
weren't the opening bar
I was
manager.
not.
Okay,
Yeah.
interesting.
No, I actually interviewed at LaCoin a week before shutdown.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Really?
And I remember it because Josh and Jordan and I had known Jordan from when he used to come in to Il Bistro when I was working with Murray there. And so we kind of knew each other we have the interview and we're all joking about like, well, who knows what's about to happen.
Yeah.
Like, we might be shut down for a week or two. And then I also remember really screwing the interview up at the very end.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I had 2 interviews at Canon, and they had told me that I was going to be on the bench.
Okay.
For if someone left.
Your bow tie wasn't tight enough.
It was not tight enough. They told me that we will reach out at some point if someone leaves and you're next up. Okay. They didn't tell me I was next up. I could have been. Who knows?
Sure.
Yeah.
It was shrouded in mystery.
We'll never know.
Never know. And so I mentioned this to Josh and Jordan. And I was like, hey, because I was looking for a day or two. That's all I was going to do. It was coin because I was still at Il Bistro and I was at Streamline. I tell them this at the very end of the interview, and I could just see their faces drop and be like, why the fuck did we just interview this guy when he's just going to leave for Canon if he gets called at any time?
Right. Yeah.
But
you fucked up big time. Is what
I fucked up.
And somehow.
And then they reached back out, and I think in July, because I left Bistro June 2020 and started at Le Coin.
And they were back open by July.
They were back open as soon as they could do indoor dining again in 2020.
Yeah.
Those guys were really good about pivoting to takeout stuff.
Got it. Okay.
And just doing whatever they could do. They were doing takeout
cocktails.
Takeout cocktails.
Yeah.
They were selling a lot of wine in the oyster trough there. It was always on ice if it was a white. They were doing fried chicken nights on Sundays.
And then you've been at Streamline for even longer. Yeah?
I've been at Streamline since June of 2018.
Were they?
And
they
I'm
had moved
still
by
one
then.
of the new guys.
Right. Right. So that's an old ass bar.
That's an old ass bar with an old ass staff.
If anyone's new to Seattle, the Streamline used to be up the street a little bit and over.
It's right next.
It
was where the Korean consulate is now.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Next to Ozzy's.
Yes.
Ish.
Yep.
Okay. And they just moved down the street to this to Jabu's Pub is
to
what I know
Jabu's
it
Pub.
as. Yeah.
And they opened in February of 2015.
So you got there after the move.
Yep.
Cool.
Right.
But they moved everything. They moved the damn floor. They moved the bar. They
There's
moved
a
every
picture
single thing.
of the owner and several people carrying the bar down.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is a rare example of a vintage bar that moved and really preserved its atmosphere in its new space.
Yeah. You wouldn't think.
Yeah.
My favorite thing about that bar, and it was not something I ever thought about until someone wrote about it, is that you don't look at a back bar when you're at the Streamline. You're looking at other people.
Yeah.
Because you can fit, I think I counted it, somewhere between 32 and 36 people at that bar, right? And your eyes are never drawn to anything else except for people.
Yeah.
And so even with the cell phone, people talk a lot at that bar.
Because it's a horseshoe.
Yeah.
I'd say it's like a huge rectangle.
I love a horseshoe bar so much, but I imagine it is so challenging to manage as a bartender. Is that true?
With how simple everything is there, not really.
Yeah.
Okay.
You've got your shelves back there. You've got your dishwasher at the end, which is a little far. But I love a narrow bar. I don't want to have a lot of steps in between, reaching for stuff.
Yeah.
And all our Rainiers right below the taps in a huge cooler.
That's all you really need.
That's all you need. That's Streamline. Vodka sodas, Rainiers, some draft beer.
Yeah.
We've been selling a lot of CBD
Oh, really?
drinks
Okay.
for the NA stuff.
Weird. The new era of
the new
Streamline.
era. Yeah.
Funny. I remember going to the old Streamline and eating pickled eggs. And
Kicks
once we
will
went in
still do
there,
pickled eggs
and
sometimes.
this couple came up to us and said, "Oh my God, Jeff," to Steven. Steven's like, "No, sorry, madam." And they were like, "No, it's you. It's Jeff from La Crosse, Wisconsin." And he was like, "No, sorry." And they're like, "Oh, I guess you're taller than Jeff. Well, you look just like Jeff. If you ever go to La Crosse, Wisconsin, Jeff owns the bodega bar there. You should go." And Steven and I were trying to go to every state capital. And he was like, "I have a bunch of miles. We need to go to Minneapolis, St. Paul." So we just went. To find Jeff at the bodega bar because these randos at the Streamline were like, "You look just like Jeff." And then we went. And Jeff was probably a foot shorter than Steven.
What the
He
fuck?
wasn't, and he wasn't there, but there were photos of him everywhere.
photos.
So when we walked in, we were like, "Oh, right. It's like a short version, like a miniature Steven."
So it
we
made
see
sense.
why you felt that way.
That's good.
But we think of the Streamline and we think of people who will just come up to you and chat with you and then
that is for
convince
sure.
you to fly to La Crosse, Wisconsin.
Yes.
Yeah. That's
That
the
is
kind
the
of thought.
second La Crosse, Wisconsin story I've heard from the Streamline.
Really?
Whoa.
No, I'm just joking.
Look how gullible we both were.
I was like, wow. There's a psychic connection.
Those delayed April Fool's jokes always get me.
Matt, so you are originally from Missouri.
Yes. I grew up in the Ozarks.
Sweet.
In a little town of 2,500 people called Buffalo. And then I moved to Kansas City essentially as soon as I could get out of there. My father made sure of that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
He kicked you out?
No, kind of.
He encouraged you in a fatherly way.
In a fatherly way, he did not even let me spend the summer after graduation in that small town. I think his fear was he's going to fuck up in some way and not go to college.
Oh, yeah.
So he took me to Kansas City where he was working a job. We lived
Pushed you out of the car and drove off.
We lived together for that summer in a former crack house apartment
Really?
that had just been renovated
In a fatherly way.
in a fatherly way.
But it was Kansas City style crack, so there was good sauce on it.
Yeah, really molasses and tomato-based crack. Yeah.
Low
yeah.
and slow crack house.
You know, it's the burnt ends crack.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's been cooking for like a good 36 hours. Yeah.
How long did you live in Kansas City?
I lived in Kansas City for most of 14 years. I spent 2 years in St.
How
Louis.
was a long ass time?
Yeah. I love Kansas City.
What's your fave barbecue?
My fave
In Kansas City?
is probably, it's now called Joe's Kansas City, but it
Okay.
used to be called Oklahoma Joe's. The original one is in a gas station. It was one of the, what did Bourdain call it? Like one of the 15 places you need to eat before you die.
Mm-hmm.
And they have probably one of the best sandwiches I've ever had in my life. Brisket, provolone, onion ring,
Wow.
barbecue sauce.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sounds
Like
great.
a fried onion ring?
Yeah.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
stacking it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So were you bartending in Kansas City and St. Louis?
I didn't start bartending until 2012. I got out of grad school. I had done some restaurants when I was young, but I got out of grad school, couldn't find any work. My brother was a busser at Roost Chris Steakhouse, and he was like, they're looking for work, or they're looking for people. And I got the job there, and I immediately was making more money as a busser at 30 years old than I'd ever made in my life.
Wow. What'd you go to grad school for?
Creative writing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I was supposed to do. And then I was like, I don't have any money. Yeah.
Yeah, I wish I had realized I didn't have any money before I borrowed all that.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
I loved grad school. Had a great time.
Yeah, no, I had a great time
Yeah.
in college, and then I ran out of money really
Yeah.
fast, and then I loitered there and didn't pay and didn't get any credits, so just because it's fun, right?
It is fun.
It's a party.
They were like
It's just-
Rushmore style situation.
Yeah, totally. I just befriended my professor. I'm like, I'm going to sit in this,
Yeah.
English comp class. Hope that's cool, and they just let me loiter
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
because it's fun, as you
It
say.
is fun. I love school. I
I
would
just
be in it
didn't-
today
Yeah, me too.
if I didn't have to
Yeah.
pay for it.
I've always
Yeah.
said that if I won $1 million,
Yeah.
I'd go right back to Cornish and finish my
That's
piano
exactly what
degree
I would
for
do.
sure.
Yeah.
That's cool to learn.
Yeah.
It's cool to learn. Mark says.
Yeah.
Reading is fundamental.
Learning is cool.
You're a good influence, Mark. We're like, I don't know school.
Well, Matt, what made you want to become a bartender? Was it just the money, or was there something grander to it?
So, I don't know.
Yeah.
I always thought once I got back into restaurants, I was like, bartending seems like it for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then once I started doing it, I liked the lifestyle. Mostly I liked getting drunk after work with everybody.
Sure. What's not to like?
What's not to like? The money was great. And it was a creative outlet.
Yeah.
And I've always done creative stuff, whether it's like playing music or like writing or whatever it is. I need like some sort of outlet. And it became bartending.
Cool. Do you still write?
Very, very occasionally. I'm like very slowly working on a Chartreuse cocktail book,
Cool.
but
Amazing. Great idea.
Yeah.
Self-published, or are you going to try to find a publisher?
I'm going to try to find a publisher, which I do need to talk to you
Yeah,
about.
let's chat about that.
Yeah, let's chat about that.
Okay,
Yeah.
sounds good.
So, what was your first bartending job?
My first bartending job was at a Roost Chris Steakhouse
Okay.
in Kansas City.
Yeah.
And we were cranking out blueberry mojitos. It was very like 70s, 80s bartending. I was definitely making old fashions with a muddled sugar cube.
Yeah.
Topping it with soda water.
Do you have a bow tie?
I did not have a bow tie, but I was wearing a tie.
Okay.
Yeah.
What a nerd.
Yeah. I wish I could say that I looked like Orville Redenbacher, but I did not.
You aspired to.
I do.
That was the
still.
goal. Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll get there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so interesting to me that there's this medium fashioned, right? Like the old fashioned with the soda water and the muddled cherry and
Yep.
orange is like a mid-century
I was just going to say
thing.
a
Yeah.
mid-century fashion. That's
Yeah.
not
I'd
old.
say it's like, what, 60s to
Like-
early 2000s?
Yeah, I would say so.
It had a run.
Yeah. I remember drinking it when I was first coming of age, in my early 20s, like
Yeah.
kind of thinking, oh, this is a real cocktail. And then eventually I realized, I don't like this actually, though. So I'm going to drink other things. And then the
It's
real old
somehow
fashioned.
sweet and watered down.
I remember
Yeah.
when I first started drinking, I was living in New York City with our friend Bess Lovejoy, and we went to some bar and they had old fashions on sale. Like there was a deal, it was a special. And I was like, I've never had one of those. And she goes, don't get it. It's disgusting.
They were
I
on
was like,
clearance.
now I have to get it. And
Yeah.
she was right. Yeah, she wasn't wrong.
Yeah.
She meant like the sugar, right?
Yeah.
Well, and also the bright neon
The cherry.
red
Yeah.
cherry.
The cherry.
Right.
That is exactly what she was
everyone was
talking
using.
about. But
Yeah.
I'm like, a disgusting drink. I don't
Yeah.
understand.
like
Because I like hadn't been drinking very long,
Yeah.
and I'd liked the sugar because I was like,
Oh, yeah.
27,
Exactly.
right? 28.
Yeah, that malt shop cherry that they
It's wax.
It's
Yeah.
such a bummer. Do you guys remember when the first time you had a real old fashioned was?
Yeah.
And where?
In Manhattan with Best
Yeah.
Lovejoy.
No, I mean like the real one. With,
a real one?
Like the one that's
Yeah.
essentially seasoned whiskey, right?
Yeah.
Like probably Sorrento.
Yeah.
Yeah, Fireside
Probably
Room.
at Il Bistro when I was working there.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me it was Rob Roy.
Okay.
But yeah,
All good choices.
Yeah.
Pretty classy choices.
Yeah.
It's like asking someone what their first concert is and it's something cool and not New Kids on the Block
Right.
like me.
Well, like the first real old fashioned has a good chance of being a good answer that way.
Yeah,
It's
definitely.
like-
Yeah.
yeah.
And so what brought you here to Seattle?
So I had been bartending for about 8 months. That Roost Chris closed down. They did a really nice thing and they gave us 6 weeks of notice. And then they gave everybody a additional paycheck that was the average of your last 4 weeks.
Oh, okay.
So you got like a month like severance
Sweet.
essentially. So I called 25 different Roost Chris steakhouses around the country.
Got to find another Roots
that I
Chris.
was like, okay, I've been in Missouri my whole fucking life.
Yeah.
I'm leaving. I'm getting out. And the only one that had a bar opening was Seattle.
Wild.
That's it. It's
That's
not because you thought Seattle was interesting or cool.
Nope.
You were just like,
It's-
got to get out
It
of
was the only one. I had one friend that lived here. I knew her from grad school. I was like, hey, how do you like Seattle? And she was like, don't even think about it. Just move.
Really?
She was like, just get out here.
I have a question for you, and I think I know the answer, but sometimes people will imply that the bar culture in Seattle sucks or something, and I completely disagree.
I completely
Yeah,
disagree.
that's-
And
insane.
coming from Kansas City, and I don't know, just like a corporate background like Ruth's
Yeah.
Chris, when you got here, did you think the bar culture sucked or was good?
No, I thought it was great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm glad to hear that.
It took a long time for me to find my like dive bar home, which when I first moved here, I thought it was the Great Nabob.
Oh my God.
Spoiler,
I
it
forgot
was
about that
not.
place.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
But like, you know, once I found the Streamline,
Yeah.
once I was introduced to that bar, before
That
I
was
worked
your
there,
spot?
I was like, oh, this place fucking rocks.
Yeah.
Yeah. It really reminded me of the Midwest.
Sure.
You feel like you're in somebody's basement in that
Totally.
place,
Absolutely.
which means people are way too comfortable sometimes.
Yeah.
But it's a great bar.
Yeah.
And the bar culture here in this town is great.
I think so
Yeah.
too.
I think people really love bars here.
Yeah.
I do too. And I think we have all kinds of great bars. We have
do.
great dive bars. We have great high level cocktail bars. We have great sports bars.
Yeah.
I think we do great.
Yeah, great neighborhood bars. There's like that kind of in
Pubs.
between category of like a good drink, but it's not gonna be like the fanciest, most opulent drink you can
Totally.
have. But
We have,
there's
yeah.
Whereas I would think that like the dining culture in the city has become to where there's not a ton of like great middle class restaurants.
Yeah. Agreed.
I think that
Yeah.
part is missing now.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's missing in bars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We also
Yeah.
have great wine bars.
We
yeah,
do.
absolutely.
We do
Yeah.
great at wine bars.
We do.
Yeah,
And tap rooms. We kill
Obviously,
it.
yeah, we kill beer up here.
for
Yeah.
sure.
I don't remember who would try to say we don't, but we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
We're
thing
the
that
home of hops. Like, what the fuck?
people will frequently lament Seattle's restaurant scene not being quite as robust as Portland's, but my opinion is that Seattle's bar scene is the same extent more robust than Portland's.
So yeah, I was talking with my fiance about like, okay, I'm going to do this interview. What am I going to talk about? And that was my exact opinion.
Yeah.
About Portland. Like the depth of the restaurant scene there is kind of staggering.
Yeah.
I think like every time I go there, I'm like, I don't have near enough time to eat everywhere I would
Yeah,
like
same.
to eat.
Exactly.
But I feel that way about the bar scene here. Like
Absolutely.
there are so many people I want to go see and I want to go enjoy their drinks. There's so many rooms I want to be in and there's only so much time.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been going to Portland fairly frequently the past several months, and that is the thing I noticed. There's good bars there. I'm no shade, really, but it's just that the best bars I've been to there haven't really held a candle to the best bars here.
Yeah. So how did you become a Chartreuse guy? The principal of Chartreuse.
I love that question.
I'm just picturing the Vice Principal's HBO show like thing. It's just me standing there in a tie
I was
and a bottle of
thinking
Chartreuse.
Principal Skinner saying, noble puma, principal of the mountains. But the Chartreuse version of that.
The Wild Men of Chartreuse, which I read in a book from the 70s.
Oh my
when
God.
people used to talk about the monks that way, which is hilarious. My first introduction to Chartreuse was when I worked at El Bistro, and I was working with Murray Stenson. I was very lucky that he and I worked one night together for about a year and a half. It was Monday nights, and I was the last bartender to get the privilege of working with him and get to learn from him.
Wow.
And so when you work with Murray, you're going to make a lot of last words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I soon discovered that I really liked putting chartreuse in cocktails, and I really liked working with it. It became like my bartender's ketchup. Like I could put yellow or green chartreuse in anything.
Bartender's ketchup with Matt Pachmayr.
Here it is.
That's the title.
There it is.
It
folks.
is. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys ever heard anyone talk about Saint Germain that way. Like
No,
when-
but that's
No.
very
yes,
funny.
when Saint Germain was the hot thing,
Yeah, for
everyone
sure.
called it bartender's ketchup
Wow.
because it was suddenly in every fucking
Yeah,
drink
and
on
it's
every
loaded with
cocktail
sugar.
menu. Yeah.
Yeah, that is not a thing I want to take the role of
No,
ketchup.
at all. So I worked at El Bistro for a while. And the great thing about working with Murray is, one, I got fast.
Yeah.
Because Murray is only working the bar top.
Yeah.
I still have to like make all the drinks out of the well for the whole restaurant. Plus, the whole bar is full. So I'm making
Yeah.
a lot of drinks.
Yeah.
Right. And no one wants to order off the menu when Murray's there.
Yeah.
So I got really good at listening to the guest, figuring out what they wanted, and making something on the fly. And there was like 300 some bottles behind the bar at El Bistro. So I
Yeah.
got really good at flavor combinations.
Infinite
Yeah,
permutations.
exactly.
Yeah.
You get really good about learning your classics because Murray and I were drinking until 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning after work.
Good.
And we're like talking cocktails.
What
Like,
a life. Good
it
God.
was-
Man, what a privilege.
It was a very great privilege.
Yeah.
Just being able to talk books and cinema with the man. I mean, people always talk about his like memory, right? Like
Yeah.
he'd see someone 5 years later,
Yeah.
he remembers their drink, where they were
Yeah.
sitting, something
Yeah.
about them.
Yeah.
That was the same thing with like music, books, and movies.
Jazz,
Like,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He loved
Jazz.
jazz.
Envy
He
that
loved
so
all
much.
kinds of music. Like I think he said he had like over 2,000 CDs. I know his
Cool.
like record collection was massive. And you know, he had this encyclopedic knowledge of classics. So I learned a lot of classic cocktails and like weird ones. Like I still remember what a Charlie Chaplin is for some reason.
Okay.
No
I
one
have
should
no
know what a
idea.
Charlie Chaplin is because no one is going to put slow gin and apricot brandy in a
Oh
drink.
my God.
Oh
Yeah.
my
But
God.
I was asking Jordan, okay, well, what needs to go in the slushy machine? What do we have extra of? We got a lot of apricot liqueur and slow gin. And I was like, I got
Oh
you.
my
Yeah.
God.
You
did a
remembered it. You learned
Yeah.
remembering things from Murray.
You did a Charlie Chaplin slushy?
Yes, we had a Charlie Chaplin slushy
Wow.
on
Did
for
you
like
call it a Charlie Chap or
yeah,
something
of course,
else?
Oh,
Yeah.
man, bring it back
Yeah.
this summer.
Yeah.
I want
Like,
it.
What
we'll
else?
have to order more slow gin.
Yeah.
What else is in a Charlie Chaplin?
Lime.
Oh, okay.
That's it.
God
Just
damn.
those two. And there's a drink that I want to do for a future pop-up called the Millionaire Number One. That is Jamaican rum, apricot, and I think there's slow gin in that too,
Yeah.
which is a weird fucking drink.
It's if Charlie Chaplin were a millionaire. Yeah.
He wish.
If he were slightly richer, then he would be the millionaire number one.
Yeah. So blah, blah, blah. Bistro, Chartreuse.
Yeah.
So I leave El Bistro. I go to LaCoin. No one was really doing the cocktail menu at LaCoin when I
Okay.
started there. The former bar manager had left. He was, I think, way more into wine. And also the cocktail program there was all based off things from The Wire.
What?
Yes. So,
I did not know that.
yes. So when I started there, everything was named after The Wire. I love The Wire. I probably
no, I'm
rewatched
down
it
with it, yeah.
3 or 4 times, right? And I'm
Love
like,
it.
okay, I guess this kind of makes sense because LaCoin in French is the corner. I know that the corner
Yeah.
was the precursor
Yeah.
to The Wire or whatever.
The French Wire.
Yeah, the French Wire. But I'm
Oh
like,
my
this is
God.
also a leap. We're also like in 2020
Yeah.
and it's COVID. Most of our in-dining people were younger at that
Yeah,
point
they're
because older people weren't coming out to like get COVID and die.
Only younger people.
Only younger people were
Wanted
like,
to get COVID and
let's
die."
get COVID and die.
Sounds romantic.
So I just told Jordan, I was like, look, this show's been off the air for a while. I think we can do away with the Wire theme for everything.
Yeah.
And, you know, it might have taken a couple conversations, but, you know, we
Little
got
resistance to taking it out.
That's a very respectful way to describe it. It might have taken a couple
there. I think
conversations.
it took 2. I think it took 2. And so we changed it. And the one thing I was tired of was only being able to put chartreuse in like 1 or 2 drinks on a menu because
okay.
you don't want to repeat ingredients, right? A ton. Yeah. So I was like, well, we're a nominal French restaurant. Mm-hmm. Let's do a chartreuse program.
Yeah.
And
we're specific menu. Yeah, isn't that where it's from? It's from the abbey at Chartres, where the monks make it in the abbey in the city of Chartres.
No.
No? Well, shit. Well, Chartres.
They named it after the Chartreuse Mountains, which is where the monastery is from the 1300s.
Okay.
They are Carthusian monks, and the town closest to them is Voiron.
Okay.
So that's where the former distillery is. They actually had to move distilleries in 2015 because the city of Voiron got too big around the distillery and it became a fire hazard. Okay. So the French government was like, this is a danger to everyone in this town.
The fuck out of here.
If you were to blow up. So they moved to a town called Agenoir, which means black water. And apparently the monks had helped all the villagers drain the swamp there years ago. So they have a barn from, I think, the 1200s that they redid. Okay. And then when they built the new distillery, they built it to the exact dimensions of the barn.
They totally made a replica.
Yeah, they made a replica for the new distillery.
Wow. You've been out there, I assume?
I went out there in October of 2022.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah. Cool. It's the only brand trip I've ever done, and I don't ever need to do another one. It was fucking amazing.
Yeah, that sounds incredible. So it's not named after the mountain, or it is named after the mountains and not the city that has a similar name to the mountains. Yeah. I'll be damned. Speaking of chartreuse, can we drink the chartreuse that's sitting over there?
Yes, please. Yeah.
So one thing I learned from Matt Pachmayr is that chartreuse, the kind we're used to seeing, is a specific kind of chartreuse, but chartreuse is a genre, not a brand name, right?
No, chartreuse is a brand name.
But there are other kinds of chartreuse, like this little tiny guy.
There are a lot of different, like, say, cuvées the monks make. So what we see is green and yellow. What we're about to drink is green V.E.P., which is the top 5% of all chartreuse they pull, and then they age this stuff extra long.
So it's same distiller. It's the same company. It's just a different imprint.
And the crazy thing about chartreuse is this is a recipe from 1705.
Right.
They made this little guy in 1759. It's still owned by monks. It's still decided on by monks. There's a father superior that makes the decision. Yeah.
To this day.
To this day. The recipe is still a secret. No idea how long this stuff is aged. It loses 1% in the barrel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's delicious.
Yeah,
it's heavy.
There's nothing like it.
It seems like it's heavier than other chartreuse.
It
like
is,
it's a little, I don't want to say syrupy because it's not
syrupy.
But
no, it's more viscousy.
It's thicker.
For sure.
It's rounder.
I get like a little bit more chocolate and cinnamon out of this than I do like a normal green.
Yeah, I taste the chocolate.
Yeah.
This is delicious. Do you have to go to France to get it?
No.
Turns out.
Though it's funny that you asked because I had two people reach out to me just yesterday about like, where can I buy V.E.P? And I was like, well, I haven't seen it on a retail shelf in I don't know how fucking long.
Yeah.
And I was buying stuff online for like, the bottles were like $250 to $300. And now if I see it online, it's $500 to $600.
For that little thing?
Oh, no. This is just like a little carrying case.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I didn't want to bring the full liter bottle.
Yeah, of course. Understood.
No, but these little bottles are like $30.
Wow. Yeah. It's delicious.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Thank you for sharing it with us.
Yeah, of course.
Nice.
My pleasure.
So there was very famously the chartreuse shortage, and probably shortage should be in scare quotes, right? Because it was akin to a financial panic, right? Where there wasn't truly a shortage.
No.
There was a perception of a shortage.
Yes.
And I wonder if most people know that.
I heard a lot of different things about when it happened, about why this was happening. So we got very lucky at LaCoin that we started the program there before allocation happened, before they started deciding who was getting chartreuse, where and when, right? The Father Superior decided that they were not going to increase production for chartreuse. So they still make the same 1.2 million liters of chartreuse that they make every year. They have not stopped production. They still make the same amount.
Yeah.
But I think what happened was during the pandemic, people discovered chartreuse in cocktails when they were making drinks at home. And they were like, oh, this shit's good. Where can I get some of that?
They were stocking their home bars, which they weren't doing before, and that included chartreuse.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then, as with all things, when they become scarce and it gets talked about, like there was that New York Times story, everyone's talking about chartreuse, and then suddenly you can't find it anywhere.
Right.
Yeah.
Which I think has backed off a wee little bit.
Yeah.
I've seen it on like some grocery store shelves in Seattle.
Yeah.
But it is definitely, I would say pre-pandemic, you could get a bottle in Seattle with, a ridiculous markup here, like $80. And now I think it's like $120.
When you recently traveled to Japan, which was what, last year?
Yeah.
You were on the hunt for specific liqueurs, including Chartreuse, yeah?
Yeah, I was just looking for vintage stuff that I could find.
Cool.
And the thing that I discovered was a bartender explained it to me very succinctly. Time passes very slowly in Japanese bars. So I was able to drink some very old Chartreuse that had just been sitting on the back bars for a while. And the crazy thing about Chartreuse is, unlike any other liquor that I have ever had in my life, it changes in the bottle. So it ages like wine. Every vintage Chartreuse I've had is different. And it has sent me down a rabbit hole and a collection that, much to the chagrin of my fiance and also my bank account.
Yeah.
But to the pleasure of some people in Seattle that have come to No Call pop-ups where you can every now and then maybe spot a bottle of vintage Chartreuse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shall we segue into No Call No Show?
Absolutely. Yeah. So tell us about what No Call No Show is, because we've been describing it, but I don't know if we've exactly gotten it accurate in our own descriptions.
So to me, like, what I want No Call to be is, first and foremost, a place where everyone in the industry in Seattle can get a affordable meal and a kick-ass cocktail or a kick-ass spirit that is not going to like really kill you on a Monday night.
Yeah.
So I just got very lucky that I know Jesse. Him and Keaton have been so kind and so helpful. Like those two, I know you guys have shouted them out the last couple of weeks, but they deserve all the flowers. Yeah. Those guys are two of the nicest men I've ever met in my life.
Totally.
I really like the space there.
Yeah.
But that's really what No Call is to me, is just a warm, welcoming environment that was always going to be open from 5 to 2 on a Monday night.
And Bad Bishop is closed on Monday, so they let you just take over.
Yeah. And it's also, I live close. I live above Wajimaya, so it's easy for me to get to Bad Bishop.
Yeah.
They're also closed on Sunday, which means I can go in and prep on Sunday.
Perfect.
And whoever is cooking, if they don't have a kitchen to prep in, a commercial kitchen, of course, if the health board is listening, they can prep at Bad Bishop on Sunday as well. And then Monday doesn't turn into like a 20-hour day.
So it's always different. There are often themes.
There's often themes.
Yeah.
Yes.
E.g. the Frasier pop-up. You've had 2, right?
I've done one Frasier pop-up. We've definitely done some pop culture ones. The next one is April 14th, and it's going to be Twin Peaks.
Great.
And that is on a menu from JoJo Kitchen out of Rob Roy, and Alyssa Lyle, who is the owner of Lucy's Bottle Shop. We'll be doing the food. But yeah, sometimes they're pop culture, sometimes they're not.
Are they local TV shows? Because we've got Frasier and Twin Peaks now.
We did Harry Potter. That was the last one. That wasn't local at all.
No.
But that was just me reaching out to a bartender, Justin Fox, who used to do those menus at Sabine, right?
I know him.
And he was like, dude, I've had this menu for Harry Potter, and I would really like to do it.
Great.
And I was like, great, let's make this happen.
He's really talented.
Yeah, he really is.
Did he put all the little toys on there?
There were definitely some fun touches as far as like each cocktail was named after a house. So you got like a flag with the house's name in each cocktail.
He's very thorough.
He does
a lot of
thorough.
shopping
He
for
does.
those.
He does a lot of shopping for those. He's very good.
For sure.
So it's become a mix of like me putting on like my own event. Like on the 28th, I'm going to do a mezcal night with the chef de cuisine at La Coin, because he's going to do Mexican street food.
Cool.
And so I'm doing the cocktails for that. It'll be me and him. I'll have some people helping out. But it's kind of become, sometimes I'm producing a pop-up essentially.
Yeah, right.
Like,
yeah,
I love that it's just become this thing where I don't want to do a pop-up where it's just like, hey, it's me behind the bar.
Hey, everybody,
it's just
it's
me.
me.
Yeah.
It's me. Look at me, this beautiful angel boy. Yeah. So I just want to do something fun. And I know a bunch of really talented people in this city. This city is teeming with talented bartenders.
It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said earlier, it's sort of like the polyphonic spree where like there's 100 different band members, but you have like a core set of people who you swap in, like Alicia Davis and Tian Trong, and you have regular characters.
Yeah, my buddy Quinn Zachke, who works at Montana Badlands right now, and Poquitos, he will come in and help out. My friend Nadia Larson, who works with me at Il Bistro, who's currently not in the industry right now because she's in school. She'll come in and fill in every now and then. This will be the second pop-up that I do with Alyssa and her partner, her wife, Angel Anderson, who works at Eden Hill, and I had worked with Angel at Il Bistro. Yeah, they're both going to be there.
Great.
Yeah.
Returning characters.
Returning characters.
Cool. Hey, Mark, should we do the news?
I think it's around time for news, yeah.
But first, the snack.
But first,
the snack. So there were too many good snacks at the Gross Out this week. So I actually texted Mark with photos. I'm like, which one? Which one should I pick? What we picked was Snow Crunchy Mochi made by Kunin. It is made with Thai jasmine rice and pink salt.
Yeah.
And it also has the yeast extract in it. I think this is going to be good.
I think it very well might. It's going to be
good.
The idea of crunchy mochi is really funny to me because doesn't the texture of mochi make mochi what it is?
Right, exactly.
Right.
I don't understand how it's
mochi,
mochi.
right? And there's
mochi
no
is,
crunch.
Yeah.
Mochi is pounded, right?
Yeah.
And this is jasmine rice.
Like we're rebranding rice cakes essentially.
Yeah.
I think.
I don't think that word means what I think it means. However, Kunin Snow Crunchy Mochi is a healthy small bite snack made from Thai jasmine rice. Each crunchy mochi is light, crispy, and delightful. Enjoy the harmony of the slightly salty and glutinous white rice, toasted to a mild yet sweet flavor. They are perfectly savory and addictive golden nuggets.
Ooh,
Okay.
golden nuggets.
I don't
Yeah.
think they're golden either.
I think this sounds promising.
Kind of golden. All right, I'm gonna get a couple of them.
I will say that I am a little disappointed that they're not coated with Pop Rocks.
Oh, they kind of they kind of look like Captain Crunch. Just the way they kind of
that
appear.
definitely feels crunchy.
Yeah.
This isn't what I thought they would be.
No, it feels like a crouton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What?
I like these.
What is mochi about this?
How is this mochi?
They're kind of. You know what it tastes like is the cereal that was marketed for like moms, like cool moms
Yeah.
will get the
You mean
sensible
Kix?
cereal. Yeah.
Yeah,
They're like salty corn pops.
yeah.
I don't know that I like these.
They're neither here nor there for
I mean,
me.
season it up, throw it on a salad. I think you got something.
Yeah,
going.
you can put it in a salad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
Feed pigeons with it. All it's salty. The pigeons would explode. They get bloated.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, I can't have that.
Letter grade?
Yeah, C minus.
Really?
I mean, am I giving this a lower letter grade than the watermelon from last week? I don't know. Probably C+.
I really am mad at the watermelon. I'm not mad at this.
Yeah. What's your letter grade?
C+. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm giving it a D+ because I am mad that it is bland.
Okay.
I kind of don't want to keep eating it. It just tastes like salt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
It is
I
pretty
also
salty.
have the Neapolitan Lindor truffles, which I knew I would like.
Yeah.
Oh,
We
yeah.
can eat those too. I bet they're delicious.
Lindor is a brand I will trust.
Yeah.
Should we
It's
though?
full
Like,
of palm oil.
Lindor feels like the
Now
kind
I
of
need
brand.
a strawberry vanilla chocolate truffle to like clear
Yeah.
out the yeast extract.
Already, there's
don't
a
know.
really intense artificial strawberry smell,
Ugh.
fragrance.
I'll take it
Okay.
over the
Favorite artificial taste?
Ooh.
Laffy Taffy, banana Laffy Taffy.
Ooh.
Aforementioned. Mark got really mad when we said that was good.
I was enraged. No, I
Oh,
think
they're
my,
white with pink speckles.
I think my favorite artificial flavor is grape, like grape bubblegum.
Oh,
Maybe,
These are good.
yeah.
Ah,
What's your
bro.
favorite artificial?
Peach Jolly Rancher.
Oh, good call. An
I like
artificial
those
flavor
those
peach.
peachy
yeah.
O's.
Oh, yeah.
The trolley ones.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. These are stupid. They're good though.
I like the trolley ones better than the Haribo ones.
I do.
Yeah.
These kind of remind me of strawberry starburst.
Yeah.
You know, like there's
Kinda.
kind of like a weird tropicalness to them.
Strawberry palm oil, coconut oil.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. It's the coconut oil.
Does
It's the
not
coconut
contain
oil.
chocolate.
It's the partially hydrogenated coconut oil.
There's probably also like cocoa solids. It's just fat.
Yeah.
Delicious fat. That's better. Good palate cleanser.
Yeah, it reminds me of like bad strawberry ice cream.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Cheap strawberry ice cream.
Oh yeah, Lindt is the one that has that fucking ridiculous chef taupe, thing. And he's doing it on the back of the pack. He's got this whisk. He stirs the chocolate
Yeah.
slowly.
His arms are up
and
like
then,
this.
Then he
Sure.
extends it, like a
Oh,
Moroccan
yeah.
tea pouring
Yeah.
ceremony, and he just like examines the flow.
It's giving Nestle Alpine White Maxfield Parish commercial.
Yeah.
Mark, your eyes are so serious when you say examine.
He means what he says.
I do.
All right. We got any news?
Yes, we do have news.
What's the news? How's your news?
Number one, Duke's on Alki has closed.
Haha. Sorry, I didn't say that.
Wow.
Shots fired.
They're fine. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine.
it's fine.
It's a
Yeah.
nice rooftop.
That's okay. Oh, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. It's not
Something
far.
else will go there. It's okay. Sorry. I'm being an asshole.
It's not for us, right?
No.
It's
not for us.
West Seattleites have lost a place to take their parents. Is
That
what
is fair. Yeah.
Yeah. And that place has been there for 20 years. They cited, I think, sort of the expected things: the West Seattle Bridge closure, the impacts of COVID, the increasing price of everything kind of prevents them from recovering. They did say in their Instagram post that they have sold the building. So There will be something coming in there. I couldn't figure out what it was. I tried to look at the liquor license applications to see if there was maybe some clues, but didn't find anything yet. But as for now, the other Jukes are open. That one's gone.
Just as a sidebar, one of my favorite Murray theories about bars were they were way more interesting when people went to bars to get laid and buy drugs.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, that tracks.
Let every bar that closed this week take that as a lesson. What else we got? Elder is temporarily closed. That's in Ballard. They had a fire at 2 a.m. on March 31st. They are still figuring out the severity of the damage per their Instagram post and their timeline for reopening. They had a fire. Don't go to Elder. I hear they're good. Have you guys been there?
I have heard they're good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
like steaks and shit. Yeah.
Yeah. Ironically, it's a wood-fired oven place, but that is not the source
Had
of
a
the fire.
in the wood-fired oven.
That fire happened at 2 a.m., so it is indeterminate what caused it. But I always worry when a place closes down temporarily from a fire because that can really extend, and I hope that gets resolved soon.
Well, didn't we chat about that last week? When places reopen, we should celebrate them just so people know they're back open.
Exactly.
What else we got?
Rocket Taco in East Capitol Hill has moved one door south on 19th Avenue. So they moved from their original location just across Mercer Street into the former Tallulah's space, which has been empty for a while.
Okay, yeah.
So that's got a much larger kitchen. It's a bigger space. They have a patio. It's pretty good for their business.
Yeah.
It's a little disappointing on a sidebar of it because I had heard that there was going to be a pretty cool sounding bar restaurant taking over the former Rocket Taco space. And it looks like that has fallen through. So I don't know what's up with that. Hopefully it's just a delay. Hopefully something cool will come up in that space. But as of now, that space will be vacated and Rocket Taco is already up and running in their former Tallulah's space.
Okay. Seattle sucked shit on the James Beard finals this week.
I'm going to say the James Beard Awards sucked shit.
I know, right? We got snubbed again. We got super snubbed last year, so at least we had a few people in the running still. Atoma is still in the running for Best New Restaurant, which I'm rooting for them. Guess James Beard and Seattle Times disagree on that. God. Good old Atoma. I got you guys. I'm rooting for you. And then Archipelago is still in the running for Outstanding Hospitality.
The hospitality when I ate there was incredible.
That's what I hear.
Yeah, I hear nothing but good things about that
And
place.
then-
The storytelling is great.
Oh, yeah. And then Houlme, Houlme, on Orcas is up for Best Chef Northwestern Pacific.
Cool.
And that is Jay Blackington, who had a place called Hogstone before, where they would serve a roast pig and also what the pig was eating when it was alive, that kind of thing. So anyway, the same chef in Houlme. I don't know what that means.
Right.
Maybe it's a surname.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're still in the running.
Yeah, well,
We
here's
still
to
got
them.
3.
I feel like it's ridiculous that 0 bar or wine programs are left from Seattle.
Yeah.
Then again, it's easy for me to say. I haven't been to the other contenders in the awards, so I can't say for certain. But it just feels like we have
like
some,
ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're good.
We are good.
We are
Yeah.
good.
And we
Stop
don't need
snubbing
James
us.
Beard to tell us.
Yeah, damn it. He's
Damn it.
dead.
All right, maybe is this the last item? Pigeon Cooperative is running a Kickstarter to start up their brick and mortar that is slated to open in Fisherman's Terminal.
Yeah.
So if you're not familiar with Pigeon Cooperative, they were formerly Brothers and Company, and they were doing Filipino classics and some Hawaiian food and kind of ran the gamut from different kinds of cuisines and would show up at farmers markets. And I have been trying to try them forever, but they have gotten the keys to Fisherman's Terminal space.
It's the old Highliner.
Yes.
Which I never went to. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. It's next to Chinooks and Salmon Bay. It's in the Fisherman's Terminal building.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And so they have a $50,000 goal for things like the build out and the cleanup and shifting to a counter service mode in that space. And so I think that's the thing that's worth supporting if you can. So call to action there. If you're able to support a place, that'd be a good thing to consider.
It's exciting. You got any news? You've got pop-ups to
I
mention.
saw something today that Kwan from Sake Noir posted a photo on her Instagram of her holding some keys
Oh, hell yeah.
with a little teaser that there would be a sake bar down south. That's all I
Cool.
saw.
So
But
she
that
does a
sounds very
pop-up at
exciting.
Kai's Bistro in the U
Yes.
District in the back.
Yes.
Every week.
I think she's been doing them every week for the last couple weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. And the pop-up is called Sake Noir. We don't know
Yes.
what the new bar might. It
No
might also
idea.
be called that. We
All I
don't know.
did was see a pic or a story post, and I
Okay.
was like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
I didn't know about sake noir until you told me, so that's also a news item for me.
Yeah,
News to us.
I had gone to one of the sake noir pop-ups last year at Haniatu. It was very good.
Cool.
And you have a pop-up coming up with Lisa B. also.
Yes.
From Bombay.
So on June 2nd with Gina Janik, who's the som at Copine, we're going to be doing a fried chicken and champagne night.
Oh man.
And Lisa B signed on to do the food.
Awesome.
I'm actually going to meet her for the first time tomorrow.
She's such a star.
Cool.
She's hilarious. She's one of the funniest people I've ever met.
I'm like very excited.
Yeah.
You guys will get along so well.
And like so friendly.
And
So warm.
shout out to my buddy Tian Trang, who made the introduction.
Cool.
Like he's the one that introduced me to Alicia
Yeah.
Davis. Like
Great.
Tian's just got the hookup with
He's
everybody
all
in
over.
town. Like
Also a very well-liked, funny
a very
person.
well-liked, funny man.
And you can
Like,
see Tian and Lisa getting along. Like you can
Oh,
see how
yeah.
they would be friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. Is that the news?
I think that's the news.
That'll
that's what
do
we
it.
got.
All right. Matt, did you
Yeah.
do anything good this week?
We did. It was my 7th anniversary with my fiance Madison.
Congratulations.
And thank you very much. So we went out to Whidbey Island and stayed out there and ate at Orchard Kitchen.
Oh, great. They're
Yeah.
fantastic.
It was so good.
Yeah.
Like
I
being
lived
in
out there
somebody's
for about
farmhouse.
5 years
Oh,
and
nice.
very near an Orchard Kitchen. Yeah.
Very good.
Good.
Like what a meal. We had this scallop dish with a green garlic and buttermilk vinaigrette.
Gorgeous.
And then they had this chili crunch that they make there from chilies that they grow, of
Okay.
course.
Yeah, they grow everything. Oh, not
They grow
everything, obviously.
And I love it when a dish rolls through your palate with like 3 or 4 different changes and then is just long. And it went from this very fresh, like green garlic, you're tasting the buttermilk, and then the scallop happens, and then you get the heat from the chili crunch, and then it was just like fish sauce, umami.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. I love that dish. It was great.
That's a beautiful space to eat. And
It
in the summer,
was
you eat
so
out in the
pretty.
field. Yeah. Because,
That would be nice.
yeah, go back in the summer. Did you stay in Langley?
We stayed. Oh, we stayed at the Captain Whidbey.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Very good.
Madison surprised me with a hotel room with the Captain Whidbey.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
it was very
It's
nice.
beautiful down
It's
there.
gorgeous.
Did you eat anything this week, Mark?
Yeah, I made it out to Zeitgeist Coffee for the
perfect.
Buckshot
you went
Honey
to the
pop-up.
Oh, I wish I
Awesome.
could have gone.
With
Yeah.
Dave Storm?
Mm-hmm.
Sweet.
Yeah, so he was posted up there making burnt ends chili over
Oh, God, I
his
love that.
fresh
With the
corn-
provolone whiz.
Fuck.
That
Oh.
was the thing. Yeah, so he's got burnt ends chili over homemade cornbread with this provolone whiz that he makes. And the key, the absolute
God.
key is it's sharp provolone he's using. It's not mild provolone, so you get that great flavor
Yeah.
from it. And then he's also, I think he's using sodium citrate in it, so it's got the texture.
Yeah.
And it's just like gooey and
Oh, that's so
perfect. I want so much of that stuff. And then they make their own chili crisp too. So speaking of chili crisp,
Yeah.
and that was just the thing. Those flavors were bonkers. I was so glad to finally get to try it because I've been trying to get out to Snohomish to try Buckshot Honey forever.
Yeah.
But I just haven't had the day to do it.
It takes, I mean, it doesn't take long to get there. It takes like 45 minutes, but you want to spend a day out there and
exactly.
go shop around
Yeah.
the town. And,
Exactly. Yeah, I don't want to just go in and out
Yeah.
there. So
My Missouri heart is very jealous right now. That,
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds great.
Yeah.
Chili over
Missouri.
cornbread. Like
Aw.
nothing better.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it's great cornbread too. And that's the key too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's a
that's the
secret
key.
cornbread block inside
Yeah.
of it. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, you want to eat the cornbread just by itself sometimes
Totally.
too.
Yeah.
But I also went to here today because they're open for lunch now,
Yeah.
Okay.
Wednesday through Friday, and so they had this fried chicken crunch wrap. It was the first day on the menu, so I gave it a shot. And it's jalapeno pepper brine chicken that they cut up, kind of katsu style, and put in the wrap with some tortilla chips and some coleslaw and some elote corn and black beans.
Yes.
And it's delicious. It's saucy. And it doesn't give you the gut bomb feeling that Taco Bell would, right?
Yeah, right.
It's
Yeah.
kind of like a higher quality sense of decadence. So I love that.
Sounds good. You have a very like smooth cheese weekend. Yeah.
Yeah.
Smooth cheese weekend
And
with Matt Pachmayr.
almost even more so because I wanted to get over to Tio Baby's this last day,
yeah.
but I wasn't
that would've
able to
been
do
smooth
it.
and cheese, yeah.
Yeah.
You'd think a guy like you would just master the art of queso and just have a gallon of it waiting and just dunk everything you eat into it.
What are you doing with yourself,
I
Mark?
know.
That's the
that
dream,
should,
right?
That should have been my pandemic project.
Yeah.
Refining
there you
queso.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Might still do it.
Nice.
But what did you eat, Meg?
My list here. We went to Joe's Pub. Steven was going to Mariners game, and I was like, "Hey, babe, you want to like get a drink before you go to the Mariners
Sammy
game?"
Joe's?
Yeah, so we went to Stabby Joe's, which he used to work across the street for years and years.
Okay.
So he
Yeah.
frequented that place before they cleaned it up,
Yeah.
you know, and he just likes it. and there's pull tabs all over the floor. So he's like, I was like, do you want to go to Fort St. George? Where do you want to go? And he's like, I'm at Joe's. I'm like, oh, okay.
Okay.
We just had a White Claw and eavesdropped. Pretty sure the bartender was drunk. It was 5 p.m. or something like that.
I once saw a bartender do a great Rodney Dangerfield, and it was not a bit. That was just her personality.
No
it was like every time someone ordered something, it was like, oh, fuck me. Jesus Christ. I'm just over here making drinks. What the fuck?
Oh, my God.
And it was so good.
Yeah.
Like seeing a 60-year-old woman.
Yeah.
Just like a senior woman.
I believe
just
that's the same
cranky,
woman.
And just like, probably was. Yeah.
Very good. And then he went to the Mariners game, and I went next door to UmmaDak, which is Korean fried chicken.
Oh, yeah,
I hadn't tried it yet. I got a skewer with Korean fried chicken with sweet chili sauce on it, which was pretty good. And then I got a tteokbokki and little mini, little smoky sausage skewer. So they alternated the tteokbokki, those, spongy. I call them rice gnocchi. People say rice cake, but they're like little.
Yeah, they're like the little tubes things. Yeah.
With little smokies, and then they grilled it. And so the tteokbokki had a little bit of like the skin on the top of a baked potato, like a twice baked potato. It was grilled a little bit, so it's pretty good. They were like $5.99 for these skewers, which is a little steep for a skewer, but I wanted a snack. I didn't want to sit down. Served its purpose. That is right next to Joe's in the ID. What else? I went to Vindictive Wings very briefly before Mark and I went to Lucy's bottle shop out in Magnolia, which was fun because it's Magnolia, but it's like Fisherman's Terminal Magnolia. It's not on the hill.
Yeah.
And it looked like it was in an old marine engine repair shop or something like that, like an old mid-century building. And they had built this very delightful little bottle shop, as you know. And we got to meet great. Alyssa. Yeah. We went with Mike Morgan, who's one of the owners of Vindictive. He drove us out here.
One of the no-call pop-ups.
Specifically, he was like, Mark, Meg, I want to take you to this spot. I think you'll like it. So we went, and his partner was there with their dog, and there were lots of dogs all over.
Nice.
And Alyssa did us a tasting of Pet Nat natural wines. And I got this lovely Mexican wine that I brought. I didn't know you'd have chartreuse, so I didn't break it out. But it's from Ensenada, Mexico, in Baja, and it's a Pet Nat Naranja, like an orange wine. It's got lots of sediment. It was scrumpy. It had a little salinity to it. It was almost like a cider. I really, really enjoyed it.
Sounds great.
It's by Duo Ma Wines. I am sort of ignorant of Mexican wines. Obviously, they have them. Anywhere that grows grapes can have wines, but I just never really gave a lot of thought to Baja Californian wines.
Sure.
So now I want to read about them. Really enjoyed it. Duo Ma Wines.
Nice.
That was one thing that was really cool about Lucy's Bottle Shop is the emphasis on different types of wine and wines from producers who aren't just men.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, I buried the lead there.
Yeah. Right.
She only carries wines that are women owned and produced, queer owned and produced, or people POC owned and produced. So no straight white men allowed. And then with Jackie Variano, we went up to Linwood and we went to the new Mountain Bao. I had been to the Lake City one before. It's Szechuanese. It's dumplings. It's xiaolong bao. It was pretty good. We had the dan dan noodles, which I really enjoyed. We got the cumin lamb and the Chinese broccoli. We got a whole feast because Jackie's Seattle Times, so she has a card, right?
Yeah.
We just ordered a ton of shit. And it was great, actually. We really enjoyed it. I wanted a little more Sichuanese peppercorn numbness from the dan dan noodles.
Yeah, some more mala.
A little bit more. I always see kids at Mountain Bao, so I get why you may not want to be completely numbing children's mouths with your dan dan noodles, but it was fun. Oh, and then Stephen and I, when we went to go pick up the greenhouse from Facebook Marketplace, dude, we went to a bar straight out of 1978 called the Fan Club in Lakewood. They're known for their hot wing pizza. They put their wings on the pizza. So next time I go, it looked like a piece of shit. And I say that so lovingly because I really enjoyed it. He had a Rainier and I had a White Claw. We weren't, he just watched the game. So, the Fan Club. That's what I ate this week.
Nice.
A bunch of drinks, honestly. Anything else?
I went to Village Sushi.
Oh, great. I love them.
Yeah, they've been in the U District since 1996.
Yeah, they used to be in a house on 11th or 12th.
I was 12,
and then they move over,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I used to take dates there when I lived in the U District.
Yeah, it's such a sweet little spot. And what's interesting about them is they have all this really crazy vintage hi-fi equipment everywhere.
Yeah.
There's this Macintosh tube amplifier, 3 of them just posted up. There's a clip speaker. I don't know what the story is with that. I kind of want to find out. Well, yeah, but it's arranged in a way that's almost like a thrift shop or so.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if any of them are hooked up, or they're just kind of there. Anyway, I found that fascinating. And the sushi roll was fantastic. I got a hanabi roll, which was shrimp tempura and avocado and cucumber, radish, sprouts, tobiko. Yeah.
I'm so thrilled to be reminded of that place. Like, you live in a neighborhood and you have the spots that you love, and then you move away and you're like, oh, yeah.
Exactly.
We were just talking about when Madison was at UW Law. We were talking like longingly about UW date nights.
Yeah.
And just in the U District because we would go play pinball. We would always end up at the Kraken, but it was like Thai Tom's.
Yeah.
Or we would always eat the Szechuan place next door.
Jean Noodle.
Jean Noodle. Yeah.
They're great.
Yeah.
Cool.
Supreme, and then
I'd eat at Supreme and all the
Village,
time.
yeah.
I mean, I even ate Pagliacci's. I'm not too good for Pagliacci's. When I was
I'm not
broke
too
and
good
I
for
lived in the U
Pagliacci.
District,
Yeah.
I'd eat Pagliacci all the time. But Supreme is better,
It's Supreme's better.
and it has a dive bar and back.
Yeah.
I really.
Yeah.
Steven was like, you know what's really good? The other day, he was going to West Seattle to go to a guitar building workshop, and he's like, I would arrive a little bit earlier to eat at this pizza place because they have the square pizza. And I was like, what's it called? And he said Supreme. They're great.
Yeah. They
Yeah,
are.
like
there's
them a
a
lot.
Thai restaurant that's in the former diner over there. It's like right next to a cat cafe, and I can't remember the name of it.
Oh, are you talking about Amazing Thai?
Yes.
Yes.
That's the first neighborhood I lived in when I moved to town.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Most people go straight to the hill.
I had one day to find an apartment. I flew out here from Kansas City.
Yeah.
I interviewed at the Roost Chris that I was transferring
Yeah.
to and like signed the paperwork. And I went and found an apartment.
Yeah.
And I'm
Seems cheap. You can move in same day because it's
I
student
think it
housing.
was I think it was $1,500 maybe. Yeah.
I paid less than that for a 2-bedroom
Oh,
for a
wow.
long time, but I was not on the Ave. I was
I was
over by the Blue Moon.
51st and 15th. Yeah, just a block off the Ave.
It's probably nicer than my apartment. Yeah, that's the spot. I have so much pride in the U District. People
Yeah.
try to talk shit. I loved living there.
It's
Yeah.
fantastic.
And now there's light rail. Back then there wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Matt, I have a random bar question
Yes.
for you. It doesn't have anything to do with what we've been talking about, but it's something that's been on my mind.
Hit me.
Okay, so there's the Chicago Handshake, which
Oh,
is
yeah.
old style
Yes.
and Malort. If there were a Seattle Handshake, what would you say it would be? I mean, obviously it would start with Rainier as
Yes.
the beer.
It would obviously start with Rainier.
Senzafine.
I mean, unfortunately, no one is drinking a local liquor everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, it is probably Fernet.
Yeah.
It's like probably like that handshake here in town.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's just not.
Saint Germain.
I would,
That's the Seattle Ketchup.
Yeah. God.
I would like to say that it will become like a Douglas Lager and say a Senzafine or a
Yeah.
Fast Penny or
Yeah, a Maracano,
high side,
yeah.
like you know,
A Maracano,
or Amaro Amarino.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Sure.
I would like to say that it
I
will
like how
become
you like
that.
thumbed over
yeah,
to
like
Skip.
is
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah.
He's over that
Point
way.
over at Skip. You know, the last guy. That's the Seattle Handshake. Amaro Amarino.
Yeah. And a Douglas Lager.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
Love it.
Very good.
Or like say you're at Here Today. It's going to be like one of those beers that they're making there
Sure.
and like Chris's like Sharpie mustache that
Yeah.
they have like barrel
Yeah.
aged. Like
what's in that?
so it's a Maletti cocktail that Chris created in Amori Margot when he worked at that bar in New York. And I know it's like Maletti, Bonal, gin. There's something else
What
I'm
a
forgetting.
great name for a cocktail.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Sharpie mustache. Yeah, because they
Really?
would put it in like the little like flask bottles
Oh, I love
and have
it.
the little mustache. Like,
Brilliant.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
very brilliant.
Great
yeah.
marketing.
It's a great modern classic
Yeah,
cocktail.
it
too,
is
like
a
that.
great modern classic.
It'll
Very
show up
clever.
across the country
For sure.
too.
Yeah.
We got any plugs before we wrap it up? I finally got my Drumlin story published after a month of trying to get it published.
Yeah.
It is good. It turned out great.
Nice.
I wrote about the women's work at Drumlin and Shoreline, made by Zephyr Paquette. Go read it. I'm very funny. And the cocktail's very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All my work is copy editing stuff now.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
have anything for anyone to read right
Real
now.
work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Matt? What do you got? Anything?
I've got a pop-up come in, I think, that we mentioned before.
Yeah.
So it's going to be Twin Peaks, April 14th. Cocktails are going to be by JoJo Kitchen, bar manager at Rob Roy. And
Love
the
it.
food's going to be from Alyssa Lyle
That's
of
the banger.
Lucy's Bottle Shop.
Yeah, looking forward to that one. That's gonna be great.
I hope to see people dressed up. There are going
Yeah, I
to
bet
be.
they will.
Oh, yeah.
There's going to be a
We've-
bunch of log ladies. Yeah.
Yes, I really hope so. We do have like a damn fine coffee cup
Good.
to give out to people for best costume.
Cute.
I definitely bought some like strangely serious but silly Kyle MacLachlan stickers. So I
good.
bought 5 of those for good costumes.
Nice.
And then whatever our break even bottle is going to be, I'm not sure yet.
Yeah.
But I did buy a Twin Peaks hat to give away to whoever buys the last shot from that break-even bottle.
There's prizes, folks.
Yeah, there
you can
are
win
prizes.
Twin Peaks prizes.
Enter to win.
Yeah. I never would have thought the hat thing would work so well, but
Yeah.
we did it at the Chartreuse dive bar pop-up. I had a Chartreuse hat that didn't look good on me, didn't look good on my fiance. So we were like, okay, I guess we'll like give this away as swag or whatever.
Nice.
And all I had was like 7 shirts. And I was like, well, this hat is better than the shirt.
Yeah, right?
So I can't just like give it to somebody. So we did like whoever finishes this bottle of the stuff we drank, that was our break-even bottle.
Nice.
It was a green Chartreuse V.E.P. And people were so serious about winning that hat.
Yeah,
I was shocked. Really worked.
Yeah.
To where I had to be like, I'm not giving any more updates about how many shots are
Oh
left.
my God.
I
People
had
getting too intense.
Dude, people stuck around for like an hour longer than I think they would have.
Hardcore.
And bought a lot more shots from that
Great.
bottle.
Wow. Well, lesson to everyone
yeah.
out in the bar world.
Yeah.
A little
Giveaway hats.
Make a hat. Yeah. You can just draw on it. Whatever you got to do. Next week on the show, we have Johnny Reyes from Lennox, which
That's
I'm
right.
very excited about. He was on top of my guest wish list for a while. So have you been to Lennox?
I have not. That is really high up on my list of
That
places
was my
I
meal
gotta
of
go.
the year last
Yeah.
year. And if I eat it this year, it'll be my meal of the year. 'Cause
Nice.
It's so good.
I had
Yeah.
someone on Woodinville tell me about Lennox.
Yeah. No.
Like, yeah.
He's so special. And he's Seattle's sweetheart, like the nicest dude.
Ugh.
And I'm excited because he used to have a food podcast, a restaurant podcast.
Yeah, we learned that during the
Yeah.
process of booking him.
Oh,
and I
nice.
didn't know that. So
We're going to test his podcast chops possibly better than ours because we're
Yeah.
still kind of starting out.
yeah, he might school us. We'll
Yeah,
see.
he might. Matt, thank you so much for being on
Oh,
the show.
thank you for having me.
sharing
Yeah.
your tiny chartreuse with us
Yeah, really appreciate it.
and educating
thank you guys
us
so
on
much.
where it actually comes from since I was dead wrong.
Shart.
Hey, it's cool to learn.
I can't do it right. And I think we'll see you next week.
Yeah, next week, everyone.
Thanks,
Bye.
folks. Bye.
Bye.